Is it healthy to start multiple businesses? I answer that question in this week's episode of Get Real with Rajiv. My family does not support me. They keep taunting me because I don't spend time with them. I also answer this question in this week's episode of Get Real with Rajiv. I feel guilty to ask for money for the services that I provide to people. I feel when I ask for money, it makes me feel greedy. I also answer this question in this episode of Get Real with Rajiv. And the last one is, I have family members on my team and some of them don't like to be treated like team members and they want a special treatment. How do I handle that situation? If you'd like an answer to this question as well, then tune into episode number 74 of Get Real with Rajiv. Hello everyone, welcome to episode number 74 of Get Real with Rajiv. Like every single week, I'm going to be answering 4 questions this week, and today for a change, Rolly is going to be the voice of your questions. So Rolly, what's the first question?
Yeah, so the first question that we have from Chandan is, I have several family members as employees and one of them is very uncomfortable with me treating him as an employee. I tried to explain myself to him, but it didn't work. I'm very frustrated. What should I do in this situation?
Well, Chandan, there are certain rules of hiring your family members. Most people make the mistake of hiring family members not because those family members have the skills and knowledge for the job role that you're hiring them for, but only because they are your family members and you can trust them. So remember this, when you're hiring somebody who's a family member in your business, hire them only if they have the skills and knowledge required for the job role. Because if you're hiring them only basis of trust, you trust them, but once you've hired them, they don't have the capabilities to produce results. Now, when they don't have the capabilities to produce results and you question them, then their ego gets hurt and they feel like, okay, how could you question me? So rule number 1, always hire family members only if they have the skills and knowledge for the job role. The second thing is, when you hire your family members, you need to set a very, very clear expectation with them. You need to set an expectation saying, hey, at the workplace, we are colleagues. You are my team member. At the workplace, we are not family members. And which means you will not get any special treatment. You will be treated as fairly as the rest of the team members are treated. Only if you are okay with that, let us have you on board. Otherwise, let us not have you on board, because later it will create complications in the personal dynamics of the family. The third thing is, considering now you have already made probably one of these 2 cardinal sins, where you've hired the person only based on trust or you've not set the expectations right, then the third thing you need to do at this point of time is go back and have this conversation and share with that person what is becoming a barrier in your relationship, and ask them if they're okay with being another team member and being treated like another team member in a fair manner. And if they are not, tell them that it's okay to part ways respectfully rather than make the experience more bitter at both ends. That's your only option, my friend Chandan. Make sure you communicate with authenticity and transparency and genuinely share your feelings with them. I hope this helps you. With that, let's go to the second question for the week. So, Rolly, what's the second question?
The second question is from Vinita. She asks, I'm an energy healer. I have completed my practitioner certification. I have done many free sessions and helped people produce great results. I have people who approach me for healing and I feel guilty to charge for my services. What am I supposed to do in this situation?
Well, Vinita, thank you so much for asking this question, because I see this as a challenge that a lot of new entrepreneurs have, where they feel this guilt when they are asking people to pay for their services. So firstly, thank you for asking such a wonderful question. Now, let me tell you this, Vinita. I truly believe in the principle of fair exchange. And let me explain fair exchange to you. Fair exchange means that in a relationship, in a transaction, when we are offering something to somebody else, we need to get something back in return so that we are maintaining an equilibrium in that relationship. Because if there's no fair exchange happening between 2 people, then the balance shifts. So if you are only doing healing for free, and you're not charging people, here are the mistakes that are happening because of that. Mistake number 1 is you're building karmic debt on that other person. And I'm using this language because you are a healer. Most people will be like, what is this guy smoking? What is he talking about? But let me tell you this. Genuinely, I believe this. When you do stuff for free for others, then you're building karmic debt on them. You're building an imbalance in that relationship on them. So you don't want to bury those people under the burden of karmic debt. So avoid that mistake. Here's the second mistake, which is towards yourself. The reason why you're not willing to charge or ask for money is because somewhere you are getting stuck in the trap of poverty consciousness. What do I mean by poverty consciousness? Most people grow up with money beliefs that actually don't serve them. Because in our society, in the mass conditioning around money, people look at money as the root of all evil. The rich make money. Rich are manipulative people. So when you have such beliefs against money, which don't allow you to experience money, you actually develop something called as a poverty consciousness, where you would have experienced this. People actually feel good about being broke. They actually enjoy that suffering of being broke. It makes them feel like a good, moral, ethical human being. And I'll tell you, that's the biggest trap on this planet. These are the kind of people who sit on their dining table and in front of their children have conversations like, Kalyug aa gaya hai, papi paisa bana rahe hain, hum jaise achhe log kangal ho rahe hain. Well, the reality is this. The problem is their mindset, their consciousness. And unfortunately, this is what they even teach their children. So think about the quality of parenting those children are receiving. I really feel bad for those children. So poverty consciousness is a great trap that a lot of people fall into. What you want to be aware of and conscious to is this trap, how it is hijacking your mindset and how it is stopping you from receiving what you deserve. So be very, very conscious of that. And when you catch yourself that this actually is a problem in receiving what you deserve, you need to open your energies up to receive things that you deserve. So please charge money, because you don't want to build karmic debt on the other person and you don't want to live in the trap of poverty consciousness for yourself. I hope that makes sense to you, Vinita. With that, let's move to the third question for the week. So Roli, what's the third question for the week?
And that is from Nikhil, and he asks, I'm an entrepreneur who spends a lot of time in managing my business. My family, however, doesn't understand this and keeps taunting me. So whatever I accomplish in the business, I have a sense of remorse. How can I make sure my family understands?
Well, Nikhil, there are two sides to the question that you've asked. And I don't know which side should I take. So I'll give a very neutral answer. The first thing you need to do is, as a family, create goals. You need to create goals of what are the kind of experiences you want to experience together as a family. You need to create goals of what are the kind of rituals and rules you want to follow as a family. It could be simple rituals like no using of laptop once you go back home, having clear time for the kids so that you're playing and engaging with the kids, going for walks with your spouse. So through those walks, you're also talking and having conversations and staying connected with each other. It could be outings once a week, whatever those rituals and rules are. I believe every relationship needs to design these things. And you can't just take it for granted. Relationships deserve that attention. Relationships deserve that sense of creation together. And I see a lot of people, because they don't do this, they go back home and work never stops. So firstly, I want you to understand, Nikhil, that as an entrepreneur, there will never be a day or time in your life where you will not have work. You will always have work. So you need to just know where to put a stop every single day, so that you start playing the roles that you play within your family. Could be as a son, could be as a brother, could be as a husband, could be as a father. You have roles to play there as well. And most people take this for granted, because culturally, I have seen people have this mindset saying, okay, my wife is there, she will take care of the home and the kids. My job is to take care of the business. I'm sorry, that era is gone. Today, you want quality of time, you want sense of connection, you want sense of expression in every relationship. And even this is your responsibility. People who say my work is my life, well, then why did you get married? That's my only question to you. So you need to strike a fine balance. Having said that, if you have an overtly demanding family who's extremely possessive and they're like satellites who want to be around you all the time, then I know it can get a little difficult. So what you need to do again there is create clarity of expectations. Saying, okay, what do we want to do together as a family? What are the experiences? What are the rules and rituals we want to follow as a family? And in that spectrum, where does work fit in? So I really feel that this requires a lot of conversation, creation, and designing of a desired lifestyle that you would want to have along with your family. So Nikhil, work in that direction and drop me a personal message and tell me what the real challenge is. I'd love to be able to help you address that, because I want all of you who are watching this to understand this. Your work is a part of your life. It is not your life. It's only a part of your life. So you need to play the role not just at work, but in every other area of your life. You have a role even towards your health, even towards your relationships at home. You have a role even towards your money and your finance management. You need to play a role in all these areas of your life. And you can't have the mindset of once my work gets set, then I will do this. Your work will never be set. You will always be in chaos, either chaos of survival or chaos of growth. So chaos will be permanent. Now, in that chaos, how are you pressing the pause button every day is what is important. I hope that makes sense. With that, let's go to the fourth and final question for this week. So, Roli, what's the fourth and final question?
And the fourth and the final question which Vivek asks is, focusing on one business rather than multiple options, is it good or bad? We are into exports and sourcing, which is our core business. Another plan is to go online in the next 6 months. Is it a right decision?
Well, Vivek, firstly, what you're talking about is more like a diversification and exploration of a new channel in your existing business itself. So you're in exports and now you're trying to market those things online and build an online vertical. So I don't see that as too big a challenge. But I will also answer the macro question that you asked me, which was, is it healthy to focus on multiple businesses? Well, let me tell you this. There are certain rules one must follow if you are building multiple businesses. And the first rule there is you need to have a focused leadership team for every business. And I'm not just talking about focused teams of executives for executing the ground level activities. That's a given. You need to have focused teams for execution, but also you need to have focused leadership teams who can lead and manage those multiple businesses on a day-to-day basis, because you as a solo leader will not have the time bandwidth, the energy and the thought bandwidth to be able to lead and create and manage multiple businesses. So rule number one for multiple businesses is build focused leadership teams. The second rule is this. I love businesses where you build them with partners, because you want somebody else to have the skin in the game and the ownership. And of course, I don't enforce partnerships on people, because I also understand that partnerships are great when the value system of people aligns. And to discover those partners who have the right value system as you have is a process of trial and error that one has to go through. But having said that, the second rule that I recommend when you're building multiple businesses is to have proper partnerships or partnership teams or co-founders for the multiple businesses, because you need people with complementary skills. You have a set of skills. You need people who have the skills that you don't have but are required for the business. So you need to have complementary skills within the co-founding team, within the top management, or within the partners of the business. That's what makes multiple businesses run. The third element, which is a very, very critical element and a very, very oftenly ignored element, is clarity of your own role. What do you bring to the table? What is the skill that you have that the business requires, and how can you add value to that business? Because I've seen many people, they put their hands in multiple businesses because they get opportunities. And I'll tell you, if you're talented, opportunities is never the challenge. In fact, when you're talented, you will get so many opportunities. The real challenge is to learn what to say yes to, what to say no to. So a lot of people just fall into the trap of saying yes to multiple things, and they say, oh, I have 5 businesses, I have 6 businesses. But when you don't have a core skill that you are able to contribute to each one of those businesses, what ends up happening is that it puts your partnership at stake. It puts your leadership team off. You don't have a core skill that you can contribute to each business with. So you need to know what is the role that you play, what is the skill that you bring to the table, which is required for each one of those businesses. And lastly is the time clarity. Do you have the time bandwidth to play the required role in each one of the businesses? If you're able to make all these rules work for you, then building multiple businesses should not be a challenge. One disclaimer: build multiple businesses only after you have stabilized one business. Because I have seen entrepreneurs who are struggling and they give you a business card that says real estate agent, export import consultant, trainer, coach, healer, stock market expert. That only tells me this person's life is going nowhere. Okay, because this is just desperation then. Never start a business when you already have one business failing. Either shut this down and start a fresh business, but don't think you can keep your legs in two boats. Because two boats which are not stable, well, the boats will sink and so will you. So remember and stay aware of these tendencies that a lot of people fall into. They think it's cool to have multiple businesses. It's not really cool if they are not stable. So I hope that makes sense. With that, we come to the end of episode number 74 of Get Real with Rajiv. I hope you found value in the answers that we shared today. And if you did, make sure that you share this video with all the entrepreneurs that you know in your circle on your timeline. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask me, then put them in the comments section below. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Get Real with Rajiv.